The new parts have arrived from the factory without issue. They'll be fitted to the car in time for the next session.
Hey, what's going on, guys? aarava here, and welcome back to my F1 2018 career mode, episode number 18 today for the USA Grand Prix. If you guys did miss the previous episode uploaded yesterday, be sure to go check that one out before you see this one. But finally, we've got this ultimate weight reduction upgrade on the car. We've been waiting a while. It failed on us once, but now we've got that, and look at that upward trajectory we've got ever since really the Russian Grand Prix to the Japan, now USA. It's just been up and up and up, and now pretty much we're near enough matching Red Bull as we come to USA. So at the team's home Grand Prix, we're nearly pretty much effectively part of the now top 4 rather than the top 3. So we made some absolutely amazing progress there this far. You can see McLaren, Renault and Force India have all plateaued there on that graph. So we made a real stride forward, and you can see, you know, clearly by the R&D tree, we've made such a huge leap and bound in the areas of the car where we needed to. You know, the engine power wise, we haven't really made much of a difference, but we haven't had to because we're still very, very strong on that department. And now with the ultimate chassis upgrade, we are now the best chassis on the grid. No arguments, we have the best chassis on paper. That is absolutely awesome to see, and hopefully we can take that good feel momentum into this USA Grand Prix. USA is usually a difficult one on the F1 games, but I feel like we can go well around here. So let's just go into practice firstly and see how that goes, and then we'll assess how the rest of the weekend can go off for us.
The lights are about to turn green here in Austin, so we should start to see the cars take to the track. Welcome to today's practice session at the United States Grand Prix. Welcome then to all our viewers, and of course to Anthony Davidson as well. Now, Ant, I wanted to ask you, obviously there's a lot of hard work involved in these sessions, a lot of simulations as well. Is this something the drivers enjoy, or is it just a routine that becomes a chore?
There's nothing routine about driving a Formula 1 car, I can tell you that. 300 kilometers per hour down the straights, 4G through the corners. It's hard to ignore those forces acting on your body. It's lap after lap of hard, exhausting work. You always enjoy driving these cars. It's a real privilege. Although I must say, if you're having a day where you can't get the car to do what you want, and it's generally underperforming, then it's a lot harder to stay motivated. But never a chore, no. Even if you're having a tough start to the weekend, at this point you know that if you work hard at it, there's still an opportunity to turn things around.
So like I mentioned, the Circuit of the Americas has been a difficult race in the past on the F1 game, especially last year was a very difficult one. The AI was so super consistent, and to get the lap time out of the track was difficult, but as has been the case this time round on 2018, I feel a lot more comfortable, especially in the Haas as well. The chassis weight reduction makes the car feel so light on its feet. It just chucks left to right, the weight changes so quick. So looking forward to quali. I think we can go well, so let's get straight into that. I think it might be a bit of a gloomy day though, so we'll see how it goes.
We're expecting qualifying to start any minute here in Austin, Texas, where drivers will be hoping to top the timesheets today and be ready for tomorrow's US Grand Prix. And I'm here, of course, with Anthony Davidson on what has turned out to be a very pleasant day indeed. No weather to interfere, no problems on the track, so absolutely no room for error.
That's right, Crofty. It's looking good out there at the moment. Each team will have their own game plan for this session, and of course, once the cars leave the garage, they'll be under parc fermé conditions. So any last-minute adjustments need to be done right here and now. Beyond that, it's all up to the driver. Who can keep their tyres in the right temperature? Who can hit their apexes? No race fuel on board these days, of course. These are the fastest cars we've had in a long time, and it's right here in qualifying where they're at their absolute peak. Let's get started.
So into Q1, you can see it's so overcast that I was actually quite surprised it was forecast for a completely dry Saturday here around USA, because you would say we're only like a minute away from rain, it looks like, almost, with the clouds and how gloomy it is, and once again we kind of have a bit of a depressing tone to the colour of the video you're seeing in front of you, but nonetheless we're going to go ahead and do our flying lap in Q1. Bit of scruffy into turn 1 that was, and the sun is starting to peek out there, and I need to preface again, once again like the Russian Grand Prix, this was another race where I recorded it after being away for 2 days. If you guys didn't know, if you don't follow me on Twitter or Instagram, I suggest you do, they're on the top of the video right now, but I was actually away for 2 days in Italy at Milan for the F1 Fan Festival, and also in the paddock with Sauber, Alfa, Romeo with their esports team. So I was away for 2 days, didn't play the game for 2 days, the last 2 videos were pre-recorded, so once again like Russia, I had to kind of dust off the cobwebs of my driving here. And so you can see I'm down in P14 in Q1 compared to Kevin Magnussen up in P4. You can see quite a big delta time between the two of us, but as we go on through Q2 and then Q3, hopefully we'll be able to kind of shut that off. But first and foremost, we have to make sure we get into Q3 and make sure I don't get knocked out. Obviously, you know, that could easily happen if I'm not good enough, and if we go off past experiences around USA, the AI are usually, like I said, very, very strong around COTA. You know, they just find, I can find the time in Sector 1 always, but then they find the time back, especially in Sector 3, very, very awkward off-camber, long corners where you have to keep the momentum up, and I just usually can't actually do that as well as the AI. But in Q2, a bit of a better lap time, you know, a little bit less scruffy than Q1 was, and the sun is now poking out even more at several places around the circuit, but it's not really helping the kind of daylight kind of aspect. It's just kind of giving me a bit of sun glare there, but we just about get through by the skin of our teeth there into Q3. Magnussen again doing well, P5, but yeah, you can see P10, so I was quite lucky to be there. I don't know if actually that's a good thing or a bad thing, of course, because I don't know what the tyre wear is going to be like. So, you know, we've seen so many times the AI have benefited from being just outside Q3 because they can start whatever tyres they want, and obviously the top guys sometimes have the pace to qualify on the harder tyre in Q2. And I hope, hopefully, going to the end of this season and into the next season, you know, if I do stay with Haas, that we will have that kind of pace to, you know, play that strategy of qualifying on a harder tyre in Q2 to then set us up for the race, because obviously at Japan it was a good case in point last episode. Being in Q3 kind of screwed me over because of the strategy and the tyre wear of the car. We had to do a 2-stop. I committed to a 2-stop so early, and all the top guys were able to do a 1-stop and beat me off a podium essentially. So we'll see how it goes at the moment. So at the moment Hamilton goes faster than his Mercedes car. It's been a pretty tidy Sector 3, so let's see through the final corner, hit the apex and go a little bit wide, kept it in 4th gear rather than go down to 3rd, across the line though, and it's up into P2 for now. Magnussen is below us, and by the end of the session it's going to be P6 and Magnussen in P7. So you can see a really, really quick learning curve from Q1 to Q3 here to finally beat Magnussen, but really, really close still. It's great to see that me and K-Mag are still so equally matched. You can see Bottas had a bit of a mare in qualifying there, going slower than both of us there in P8, so he's going to want to make up for that, just ahead of Fernando, Alonso and Carlos Sainz. But let's head into the grid then and see how we go for the race on Sunday.
What fantastic enthusiasm we have for Formula One here in the United States of America. And it's an enthusiasm born from generations of memorable Grand Prix racing. Bruce McLaren took his maiden victory at Sebring way back in 1959, and John Watson's 1983 victory at Long Beach, well, that still holds the record for the lowest ever starting position for a race winner. We're racing today then in Travis County, Texas, where 20 corners and speeds of up to 200 miles an hour await us on this magnificent racetrack. It's 60% full throttle with plenty of good opportunities to pass, especially through the 2 DRS zones into Turn 1 and at the end of the long back straight into Turn 12. What a race we have in store today. Anthony Davidson is alongside me as usual for the race today. Let's talk about Toro Rosso. They've had one retirement in the last 5 races. What do you think that says about the reliability of their car?
I think they can be fairly pleased with that record so far. The first thing any good car needs is a solid, reliable base with which to build on, and they seem to have that this season.
Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, with Daniel Ricciardo slotting in alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Raikkonen, Verstappen, the engineer, and Bottas, Alonso, Sainz, Vettel, and Nico Hülkenberg, Leclerc, Stroll, Esteban Ocon, and Sirotkin, Hartley, Gasly. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Stoffel Van Dorn and Sergio Perez, Ericsson, and Kevin Magnussen rounds off the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Okay, this is the team's home race. We're all relying on you to impress today.
So as has been the case a few times now, the last couple of episodes, we are elevated up the grid now. We're up into P5 due to engine or, gearbox penalties, whatever the case is. Kevin Magnussen, especially our teammate, has been absolutely no-scoped out of his position all the way down to last place on this grid. So that's not good for the team. Obviously, I talked about literally last episode about it's still such a close fight between Red Bull and Haas for third place. Red Bull did get ahead of us last episode, so we trailed them in fourth place in constructors. It'd be really great if we could get third because we worked so hard for it. We made such great progress, but with Magnussen starting in the back there, it's going to be very, very difficult. And race strategy-wise, not too sure how this Grand Prix will go. You can see I have adjusted the strategy. It was a default 2-stop ultra soft tire to 2 sets of super softs. I've changed that to a 1-stop with ultras to the set of soft tires, and much kind of like the Chinese Grand Prix or other races where we've gone long on the softest compounded tire and tried to just stretch it as far as we can and then go onto the harder tire. We'll try and do that, but I'm not going to lie, it's going to be maybe very close. Maybe perhaps we're going to feel it right at the end of the race, maybe with those soft tires, and vice versa also at the end of the ultra soft stint, but we'll see how it shapes up. But after Japan, I'm very wary that I think a lot of the cars around us are going to try this 1-stop, so we're going to have to try and follow them and just take the pain of feeling that tyre wear then. So here we go to 5 red lights to round number 18 of this season to the USA Grand Prix from 5th place on the grid. Fire lights are out and we're underway. It's a pretty good one for us, but an even better one for Verstappen there. Ricciardo gets off from the front row of the grid trying to defend from Kimi Räikkönen on the inside. We're going to go the long way around on the outside of Verstappen. He's been caught napping a little bit into turn 1, and we make it work. I thought I went a little bit too deep and wide into turn 1, but we found the traction there and we're up into P4. So Kimi ahead of us in P3, then Ricciardo second, Hamilton at the moment off pole position in first place, but Ricciardo immediately is going to pressurize him on the end of lap 1 as we are on Kimi Räikkönen. So fight for maybe P1 and also respectively P3 here between Ferrari and Haas and Red Bull and Mercedes into turn 1 though. Can't do anything. Kimi though a little bit wayward into turn 1, kind of halfway through the corner. He almost kind of got lost a little bit, started turning right and then back to left. So maybe he's feeling a bit of tyre wear already perhaps, or maybe just filling with some dials on his steering wheel. But Kimi definitely looks like he's there for the taking. You can see on the mini-map there, Ricciardo and also in the distance just up the hill, you can see how far Ricciardo and Hamilton now are waltzing away from Räikkönen. So he's actually holding me up at this stage. So if I can try and get past him here with a bit ERS and Rich mix, maybe we could maybe get onto the back of the top 2 fight. Let's see. But the Ferrari definitely is going a little bit slow. Vettel was handed a penalty of some sort, so he's down the order already, and so his teammates not going too much better. So here we go now in a straight line, overtake mode, and we've got Rich mix going as well. And obviously now our car is super light with all the weight reduction we've done over the course of the season there, and so we're going to go toe to toe with Räikkönen. He's got a bit more engine power on us, perhaps. The Works Ferrari engine, as you would imagine, is going to have a little bit more horsepower down the inside though. A little bit of contact as we went a little bit oversteery on the exit, and Kimi's still giving us a good fight on the inside there. He's going to try and squeeze us to the left. Even more contacts made. We go a little bit off circuit, but to be fair, I didn't have anywhere else to go as Räikkönen really forced me left. And in the end, though, we hold our racing line, and we're up into P3 then. So you can see already Räikkönen losing a little bit of time. So he definitely was holding us up. I don't know if he's got any kind of engine wear, maybe, or a gearbox wear, or just some sort of issue with the car. But he's definitely going a little bit slow. Talking about issues, though, there's a yellow flag behind us there in the midfield. So someone's had a bit of contact there as Ricciardo is still pressurizing Hamilton there on the minimap. And just in the distance, you can see that Red Bull right behind. But we've got Sergio Sopkin in the Williams out of this Grand Prix. So only 19 runners now as we go into the middle part of Sector 3 now on lap 3. And now Magnussen is out of the USA Grand Prix as well. So it looks like he's got caught up maybe with Sorokin, and so that's 2 races in a row now where K-Mag is going to DNF out this race. Obviously last time in Japan it was a mechanical failure, engine failure for Magnussen. This time round he's pegged the Williams car. The Williams car looked to be going slowly, and so it looks like Sorokin already had issues of his own, as you can clearly see here by the onboard. And oh my god, that's so unlucky. So unlucky and frustrating to see for Magnussen. He looks like it just kind of slams into him. The front right tyre just goes pop like that, just goes straight off. I was quite surprised actually how quickly that right tyre just flew off the Haas car. So I don't know if the Haas mechanics run out of resources towards the end of the season. They're sticking on our wheels with some sticky tape or something, but that wheel just popped off right there. And so he kind of T-boned him into the barrier they go, and they're both out the Grand Prix. So that's really frustrating because, like I just mentioned before, we are fighting Red Bull. Magnussen was already going to have a tough time scoring good points from the back of the grid, let alone out this Grand Prix now. And I'm never going to outscore both Red Bull cars with them both in the race, unless I end up winning the race and they're kind of outside the points or in low points at least. So I don't have much hope there. So I think Red Bull are unfortunately going to get some good points on Haas in the constructors here, and so we're going to have it all to do in the remaining rounds after this. There's only, I think, how many, 3 rounds left in this season now after this episode, so it's we're going to be up against the wall as a team to try and beat Red Bull, but we can't be too disheartened by that, because obviously, you know, it's fighting a top 3 team. I didn't actually think we would be in this position at the start of the season, so I can't complain too much. And speaking about Red Bull anyway, so much, Ricciardo now is attacking Hamilton for first place, so the Australian's fancying his chances at the race win, tried to go around the outside. Hamilton, though, defended quite well to the inside, so fair play there. But there we are now in 3rd place, with Verstappen behind in 4th place now, followed by Fernando Alonso, Valtteri Bottas, and then you've got the Ferrari, Sebastian Vettel. I believe Kimi Raikkonen, you already saw with the kind of on board, he already pit so early on compared to the rest of us. And as we go on to lap 7, we're continuing long, and it looks like pretty much all of us are committing to this one stop. The difference is, though, Verstappen, you can see on the top right, is on super soft tyres, whereas Ricciardo and Hamilton and myself, we're all trying to go, you know, long on the ultras. Verstappen is going long already on super soft tyres, so he's got the advantage. He obviously qualified into Q3 in Q2 on that set of Red Wall super soft tyres, so his tyres will not be going off as fast as mine, and that might be an issue. You can see on the bottom right there, actually, on the heads-up display, my inside tyre carcass of the front tyres are actually getting cooked there. They're getting towards yellow, whereas the outside temperature is okay, but that inside carcass temperature, it's not great. If it stays like that, this is not good news for me, because that means the tyres are starting to go off and off and off if they continue to be yellow, and so that's worrying signs there. Meanwhile, though, we're going to take a look at a quick replay, because as we were trying to look behind us and try and, you know, assess the tyre wear situation with Verstappen there, we've got Ricciardo making the move on Hamilton. Down the inside he goes of the back straight there with DRS aid as well, and he gets into 1st place there. Meanwhile, you've also got Bottas overtaking Fernando Alonso, then Bottas also on the super softs, whereas everyone else, it looks like, is on ultras. So Bottas and Verstappen, the only ones with that advantage of having gotten into the top 10 in qualifying on super soft tyres, so they'll be able to go a little bit longer, or even if they don't, they'll just be able to feel a little bit better on their tyres potentially right now, and that might be a case in point as we move on to lap number 9. So long into this Grand Prix. Looks like the tyre carcass temperatures have gone down a little bit there, so that's good for us, but not good enough, clearly, because now they've shot back up with a lockup on the front left tyre there, and Verstappen is simply overtaken us with the mistake, and he's up into P2. We're in P3 now. Obviously, one of the top 2 guys has already pit, either Ricciardo or Hamilton, but Verstappen has caught us there with the mistake. You know, just a simple big lockup on the front left, and I couldn't do anything. I was just a passenger at that point, watching the car go forward. So even though the tyre carcass temperatures were looking a little bit better, they were green, not yellow anymore on the heads-up display, just a straight-up easy lockup there. I have got higher brake pressures than I have done in previous races, but that's due to the fact that, obviously, remember, we've had those 2 minor brake updates, and they're clearly not working for me right now, because it's another double lockup, and Bottas has overtaken us now, and I think this is the tyre wear kicking in big time here for me today, because now I have to try and re-overtake Bottas now with overtake mode on the ERS. DRS open as well for us. Rich mix flowing. We do re-overtake Bottas in a straight line, but again, another double lockup, and it's going bad to worse for us now. We're off circuit, and I think that's it. Our tyres are blown. I think that's the sign. I don't think that's just the brakes issue. I think it's just the tyres have simply gone now. Like I said, we've had 2 minor brake updates to the car now on the chassis side of things. Means I can go a little bit more aggressive on the brake pressure, and it's been fine up until now on lap 9, and now it looks like you can see, look at those tyre carcass temps, absolutely cooked. They're orange now. The front left is nearly red, and so that's the sign that the tyres have completely gone off the cliff. It's time to come in, and looks like at the same time Verstappen and Bottas will come in. So I got my wish at least. I've managed to match Verstappen and Bottas. I've dragged a set of ultra soft tyres as long as they have on super soft, so I would say I've done an okay job, but obviously we could have done a little bit better, maybe gone a little bit easier into those corners on the braking. But if I had done so, they might have overtaken me anyway, so I guess it's a bit of a double-edged sword in terms of I had such bad tyre wear that I was always going to inevitably either lock up or go so slow into a brake zone they were just going to dive bomb me. So you know, hopefully this is the long-term play, though. This will hopefully come back to me in a good way towards the end of this Grand Prix now, because I've managed to match these guys, so now I am officially on the 1-stop, so hopefully now, unlike Japan, I won't be getting screwed over with a 2-stop situation here, and so now it's about just putting my head down and getting focused on catching back up to Verstappen and Bottas, and hopefully hoping they get stuck in a bit of traffic. And as we've got a bit of traffic ourselves on Charles Leclerc in the Alfa Romeo Sauber, down the inside we go, and over the apex, and we're up into now what is P14. Sainz ahead of us there, and ahead of the likes of Verstappen and Bottas, I believe, are the 2 Toro Rosso cars, and also one Fernando Alonso in the McLaren here. So we'll see how they go. Obviously, traffic's been a big trait of the season so far in the F1 2018 game. It's been to our advantage sometimes, and also been to our disadvantage sometimes. It definitely is a bit of a luck game in terms of how badly you're going to get caught in traffic, just like it is in real life Formula 1, of course. So, you know, Bottas there gets past the Toro Rosso, but he had to lose a bit of time down the inside of the last corner, and that means Verstappen is now right up the chuff of that Toro Rosso car. Signed to the background there. Hopefully we can catch up to him soon enough, but Verstappen, I think, is looking likely to overtake the Toro Rosso car sooner than I get onto the back of Carlos Sainz, but Bottas is in some clean air. Up ahead, though, you can see just there was that train of Fernando Alonso. It looked like, I think there was a Ferrari there as well, and then maybe the other Toro Rosso of Pierre Gasly. I think Hartley's the one right here at the moment. And Verstappen now will want to make quick work of this round the outside into the hairpin, even before we get to the DRS straight on the long way round. He finds the grip, actually, there. Soft RV, the super soft. I'm assuming Brendan Hartley's been going long on those super soft tyres, potentially, so that's why Verstappen's able to find the grip, of course. Anyway, the Red Bull is so much better than the Toro Rosso, but look at that, Brendan Hartley comes back at him, the Honda power in the Toro Rosso. I'm not too sure if Toro Rosso have done many engine upgrades on their car this season, but clearly they've got a decent amount of straight line speed to come back at Verstappen there, and almost having for chips down the inside there, but Verstappen keeps it. Obviously the downforce helping them eventually in the brake zone. He's able to stay ahead, but good to see the Toro Rosso actually had enough straight line speed to re-overtake him and actually go toe-to-toe once again by the end of the straight. But Verstappen is clear now. He has clean air to try and catch back up to Bottas, who's equally catching more traffic now. Fernando Alonso and Pierre Gasly, and just ahead of them is a Ferrari there as well. I feel like the Ferraris are trying to two-stop potentially this race. I think that's why they're there, still ahead of us. And now we can see you got Sainz down the inside of Hartley, and so can we make a double overtake now on the main straight on towards lap 12 now. DRS open, rich mix flowing, and ERS up into high, down to medium now as we go to the brake zone, into the inside of turn 1, a little bit wide on purpose on the exit of turn 1 to kind of push out Carlos Sainz, and we're up into P12, and so that's a nice double overtake, and that was definitely maybe a little bit easier than Verstappen and Bottas had it in terms of the timing for me, in terms of as soon as Sainz held up Hartley, he was able to just kind of shove him off a little bit to the point where I could overtake both of them very nicely. And now we catch up right to the middle of lap 12. We see Verstappen up ahead of us overtake Pierre Gasly then, so Gasly's been overtaken by not only Alonso, but also Bottas and Verstappen literally in a flash. So the Toro Rosso, maybe both of them now feeling the tyre wear, and maybe both of them will be coming in for a pit stop pretty soon, but it's not going to be soon enough for me because I'm going to be right up the back of Gasly here as we go towards the triple right-hander. We kind of size up a move here. We're going a little bit wide on the entry, cut in, use the curbing on the right-hand side, go to the inside line. He's on the outside. It looks like he's been washed away with some bad grip there on the outside line. We're able to get him, and we are up the order down. So now we follow this train of Bottas, Alonso, Verstappen, and myself. And Alonso, actually, despite being overtaken by Bottas, are now going to try and come back at Bottas with DRS, you can see. And actually, he's getting away from Verstappen a little bit. So kind of weird that, I don't know, Alonso got overtaken, but now is fancying to re-overtake Bottas, maybe. So I don't know, maybe he was saving some ERS battery deployment for now. He's using it again to try and get back on Bottas. Meanwhile, I'm trying to chase after Verstappen and see if we can overtake him. Of course, I need to try, hopefully. The hope is I can try and get Verstappen and Bottas again. I was ahead of both of them before I kind of had that lock-up spree on lap number 9. And here we go now on Verstappen. And this is a bit of redemption to make up for the mistakes earlier now on Verstappen down the inside a little bit early, maybe on the brakes compared to him, but I'll make sure I don't lock up there. And we go a little bit wide on the exit to push him out, and we're up into P5. Meanwhile, Alonso there, you saw, briefly did try and go side by side with Valtteri Bottas to try and overtake him. So Alonso is actually having a go at the Mercedes car, but in turn, eventually he's going to run out of steam. And like I said, I think he was maybe saving ERS battery earlier, then started deploying it to attack Bottas, and now he's run out of it again. And so I'm going to have an easy run at him with DRS as well, and also the ERS, so we don't even need to bump it up. Look at that, I'm going to keep it medium, going to keep the fuel on standard, just with pure DRS there. The Ferrari engine, v the Renault, and also drag updates for our car, the lightness of the chassis, v the McLaren. Just able to waltz past him there in a straight line, even with just the DRS open, not even using ERS and fuel. So that's really good to see. And eventually Alonso will come in then on lap 18. So 10 laps to go. So it looks like Fernando was trying a two-stop there. So that's maybe why he was kind of out of sync with this Grand Prix. Like with the Ferrari cars, I think the Ferraris are trying a two-stop as well, potentially. So it's just really the two Mercs, the two Red Bulls and myself that are doing the one-stop here. On lap 19 now, we're finding the pace on the top right. You can see a green lap time for us, and we're getting into our groove a little bit, I think, for the first time, really, in this race so far on these soft tyres, and we're surely going to close up to Bottas eventually. You saw into turn 1, we got close, and now, finally, on lap 19, on the main straight, with DRS open, we're down the inside, and we're going to try and make this overtake work. A little bit of contact as Bottas swipes left and tries to re-overtake us, but it didn't really assess the space he had, really, and kind of just slammed into our right front tyre there. But immediately on the pit straight, Bottas might have a chance to have us back here, because he's gaining in the mirrors there. We're in medium on ERS. I'm just sitting here not thinking about him making a move, and he dives it down the inside there. That's a huge dive bomb, and I was caught completely napping there, so I'll put my hands up. I really didn't think he was going to make a move. He was quite a bit away from me on the main straight. I was keeping medium for ERS for a reason, because I was kind of winding down, trying to save some battery then for later on this race. Little did I know, Bottas was climbing and climbing, maybe with overtake mode, I'm guessing, and with DRS, and just sent it from quite far back there. And even Verstappen got in the midst there with the proximity arrow in red. And now you can see I'm pushing a little bit harder to catch back up to him, to re-overtake him now. So we, I caught him napping, and I caught other drivers napping earlier on in the Grand Prix. So I guess it was my turn then. So I need to kind of stay focused and alert for the remaining laps of this race. It looks like it won't be as easy as I thought it was going to be, because I got past Verstappen and Bottas in kind of two swift one corner moves that I thought, okay, that was it, that's my race done. But no, Bottas comes back and he's going to give us a fight, so we have to try and re-overtake him now. It's going to be on the main pit straight here, not on the back straight with DRS there. It's going to be DRS on the pit straight. We haven't made a move here really for a major position apart from Leclerc early in the race. Down the inside, lock up on the front left tyre, but like we did with Leclerc, go a little bit wide on the exit and push him out, and we're back up into P3 in the podium positions. Hamilton's still P2, and so that must mean Daniel Ricciardo still leads the way from this USA Grand Prix, looking very, very strong in that Red Bull car, unlike his teammate who's struggling at the moment to keep up with me and Bottas. And now we move on to lap 23 at the moment. We're playing around with the fuel here and there in Sector 1. Now on the main straight, going to high, and then rich mix as well, you can see. But even with that, Bottas might start to close a little bit. He is in the mirrors. He's probably got overtake mode. I'm still saving some ERS for later. That's why I didn't bump it up to overtake mode. He goes on the outside, but we're going to defend to the inside there. That's fine. So that's why I didn't bump it up to overtake mode. I knew I could probably defend that, so we'll keep it calm. But right behind him is Verstappen, and then the two Ferraris with Vettel shooting it down the inside of Raikkonen. And so Kimi is on the inside there. Vettel squirts the throttle to try and go around the outside. And so this is a fantastic battle between the two red cars there, and they're still neck and neck as we go into the triple right-hander. It looks like Vettel just about has the measure of his teammate there. But great battling. But to be honest, if I was them, I would stop battling each other and try and use each other as a bit of a DRS tandem tow, try and catch up to us three, Verstappen, myself and Bottas. But there goes Kimi down the inside, and Vettel's going to get re-overtaken by his teammate there. Kimi has definitely been the stronger of the two over the course of this season so far in the F1 game, in this season of my F1 2018 career mode. And Kimi again gets the better of his teammate there and gets back ahead of Sebastian Vettel. And now both of them, like I said, they should probably listen to me and start chasing off this man Verstappen, who's not too far off Bottas, who's not too far off myself, because if they work in tandem, like I said, they can definitely catch us. And so that might just happen as we get onto the second last lap of the Grand Prix. Bottas might have another go at us here. I'm looking behind me, and he's looking very, very punchy. We go up to overtake mode, and even that's not enough. We're in rich mix overtake mode, but Bottas just has too much speed with DRS as well, and that Mercedes engine in the back of his car. He's down the inside, we're round the outside. He's going to be on the outside for the next corner, so surely I can keep this, but he's going to do a great job under the brakes and go the long way around. Look at that, how much earlier he's got on the throttle, but we're going to come back at him now. He's going to squeeze us nearly off circuit, so close to making contact with the front left tire on the side pod there. We cut in tighter to get the throttle down earlier. It's worked out, but Bottas actually parks the bus there, so I can't actually use that to my advantage. But we swing round now, cut across the racing line, and now I can sense a bit of space there. Down the inside we go. Bottas does give me the room, and this is a fantastic battle as we move on to the last lap of the Grand Prix. Myself and Bottas side by side. The two Ferraris again side by side behind, and in the middle is Verstappen, so it's 2 by 1 by 2 there. Really nice formation here, and the two Ferraris now still going at it. But look at that, Raikkonen now gets away from Vettel and now dives it down the inside of Max Verstappen. So Raikkonen going for the double pass as he goes through the last corner through to the first corner of the last lap of the Grand Prix to make the move on Verstappen to get up ahead of the Red Bull car, and I think he'll do it as they go into the S section. There we go, and so now it's a Red Bull sandwich there for the two Ferraris either side of him, and Bottas is still trying to chase us down. We're in low and lean, you can see in Sector 1, because Sector 1, this entire race, I've been the fastest in Sector 1 compared to the AI, so I'm trying to save as much fuel and battery power as I can here in Sector 1. Obviously, that's going to mean Bottas does close up to us here, and he actually sends one down the inside. That's fine, though. Keep it calm here. Just, focus and believe in the power of DRS, ERS, and fuel. That's a lot of RSs there, but bear with me as we go now onto the back straight for the last time in this Grand Prix. He's got DRS. Actually, I don't even have DRS, but with Rich Mix and the Slipstream and ERS in overtake mode, down the inside we go, and we'll go a little bit tight on the apex, go wide then on the exit on purpose to scrub out here the speed, and we're back up into P3. And meanwhile now, Bottas is left to fight for his P4 with Raikkonen. So the two Finns go side by side here. Great action behind. Look at that, Vettel has overtaken Verstappen. So Verstappen's fallen from all the way from P5 down to what is P7, I think that is. And now Kimi, the long way round and the outside of the triple right-hander. He's made it work. What a great move there by Raikkonen on the last lap, in the last couple of corners of this Grand Prix. He overtakes his fellow Finn for 4th place there, but we are going to keep 3rd place and get a 3rd podium of this season. That is a good one.
Great drive, great drive. We're really happy with that performance.
It was a magnificent race and a drive right out of the top draw to take the win for Red Bull today. So, how exactly did they set themselves apart from the pack today?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
So here come our winning drivers today, and what a race it was. There's been a big push at the factory lately to get these cars ready, and we can see the fruits of that labour today as Red Bull lift the winner's trophy.
Our 3rd podium of this season, I believe, or it might be our 2nd, I can't quite remember, but it's another podium for us nonetheless. We still haven't managed to match that win of Kevin Magnussen. I don't actually believe I will be able to match the win of my teammate, unfortunately, which will be definitely a first for me in F1 career mode as a whole anyway, but we'll get to that by the end of the season and see. Anything could still happen, but a great third place there right at the end. You know, honestly, with the pace that Raikkonen had, even Vettel had, the two Ferraris looking really good on their 2-stop there. I was kind of a little bit worried that even Raikkonen could overtake me, but I managed to keep it ahead. Just enough road there for us to get to 3rd place. Ricciardo wins the Grand Prix though, so that's going to be a good points haul for Red Bull and the constructors there. In terms of the championship battle, I believe Hamilton is leading, and he's still going to be leading now to Raikkonen and Vettel. So you got to say Hamilton's looking ever stronger. He's been very consistent in the last couple episodes here for his championship sake. So he still leads with a fair few points to Raikkonen, Vettel, Bottas, then Ricciardo, myself, Verstappen, and Magnussen there, 2 by 2, kind of a checkerboard there between the Red Bull and Haas. But it does mean that Red Bull pull ahead of us with that win for Ricciardo. Despite me beating Verstappen, obviously Ricciardo getting the win is a big chunk of points versus 3rd place there, and so we have it all to do. Like I say, you know, 3 rounds to go. I don't know. I'm a little bit hesitant. I'm not as confident to say that we can close that gap. Let me know in the comments below, guys, if you think myself and Magnussen can maybe pull that back and, you know, get 3rd place back in the constructors. We've been 3rd for so long this season, and now, ironically, the time of the season where the Haas cars got even stronger this year, the Red Bulls equally got better, or the Ferrari, or vice versa, the Ferrari and Mercedes got worse, and they've been able to get the results that mean they still stay ahead of us in the constructors. So it's been a little bit frustrating in that kind of sense, because the car's been getting so much better and better each race, and yet Red Bull is still managing to find the results ahead of us. So I guess that's maybe the difference as a kind of traditional foundation top team, and we're just emerging as a top team. So we're beating Magnussen now in the teammate challenge, so that's good to see, by 2 points though, so it's very, very close. And then against Hulkenberg, we're beating him as well, so we should be getting a decent amount of respect points by the end of this season, in terms of obviously 3 rounds to go, and then we'll see what we do. I really, honestly, I haven't made my mind up completely what I'll be doing for season 2 yet, guys. Obviously, Haas is looking like a very good place to stay, but you never know. Whatever if offers do come my way, we'll obviously have to take a look at it. But you know, right now at the moment, you can see that with the way the tree is and the R&D side of things, the only thing that's going to get reset for next season is the reliability. So it's looking very, very strong. And on that note, actually, I was thinking ahead to, obviously, over winter from season 1 to season 2, it's a time where you can develop a lot faster. There's no wait time. So I thought, actually, I want to try and do some simultaneous developments on the downforce, on the aero Pro side of things. So I went for an upgrade on the drag, and now they'll open me up to this new level on the below the drag update of these 3 upgrades that I can maybe try and look into doing simultaneously with a major update maybe. So I know I said I wasn't going to spend any more points last episode, but I lied a little bit. So we're going to spend a little bit more just now, you saw there, but I think that'll be it then until right at the end of the season. And then going from season 1 to 2 over that winter period, we'll spend some points to kind of, dilly up kind of any last upgrades we want to do, try and hopefully start off next season with a good foundation. But that'll probably be the actual last bit of spending until the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix probably, guys. But if you have enjoyed that one, really great race, great podium for us. Smash the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're only around here, do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I've been Aarava. Have a day. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.